We have a quorum?
Yes, sir, we do. This is 4 out of 6.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, yes,
Zoom.
yes. I agree. I agree.
Right, whenever you're ready, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
Good evening, ladies.
Hello.
My name is Corey Bond. I am the chair and welcome to our meeting for Thursday, July 20th. So, Mr. John, would you lead us in the pledge, please? Please join me, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. John.
Oh.
Ms. Abigail, would you do roll call?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Corey Bond,
Present?
Victoria Luck, absent at this time. Mr. White,
Present.
Mr. Briscoe, absent at this time. Mr. Souter,
Present.
and Ms. Egan. Present. Perfect, and then council liaison, Councilmember Ebert, absent at this time. Myself, staff liaison Abigail Mayorga and Jana Moyer, present. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum of the Ward 4 Neighborhood Advisory Board.
Ms. Mayorga.
Perfect. Yes,
Ladies, we have public comment now, so if you have anything, you're welcome to stand up. And all we ask is that you speak your name for the record. And you can either stand here or stand up, whichever you'd like to do, whichever.
My name's Nancy Heck. So I have concern, I've noticed in the area that there's a lot of like memorial crucifixes that are popping up all over. I certainly understand, you know, why those are there, and I don't mean to offend anybody. But my observation over the past couple of years is that people, they put mementos around these memorials. And we're challenged with our wind up here, and I've encountered many times, you know, the day after storms, that the mementos are strewn about on the trails, in the bushes. There's 3 of them currently on Silver Sky that I walk every day. One of them currently has like 6 glass bottles around the bottom of it, with stuff stuck in the bottles. They've taken straps and wound them around the pine trees, which I don't think are good for our trees. And then they stuff mementos in the straps. They last for a while, but they get blown away. The landscapers seem great. And I'm sure that's city property. I think the HOAs might own what's on the other side of the sidewalk, around Sky Vista and Silver Sky, if I'm remembering the name right. But I don't know if there's, you know, any ordinance about that. I've also noticed that we're spending our tax dollars to clean out the sewer all along that area, which is good. I'm sure it's part of the flood control, you know, steps that are being taken up here. So we've cleaned all the brush and stuff, but I just keep seeing all this stuff from these memorial installations. And I just have concern about them not being allowed, or certainly not up to me, but they seem to, you know, create litter, and they're in the curb, they're blown away, broken glass. And so I just want to put that out there, if anybody shed any light on that for me.
Okay.
And I have pictures.
Okay, and I did I have to apologize. If you will fill out one of those forms.
Oh, I can grab you one. Just leave that here.
No,
I'll grab you one. No worries. We can do it after. Okay.
and just make sure you turn it into one of the ladies before you go.
Okay.
That would be appreciated.
I didn't know if I did take pictures, so I don't know if I could email those to anybody.
Yes, ma'am. I can give you my card after and we can connect.
Great.
To get that situated.
Great, thank you.
Yes. Okay, thanks.
And Okay,
And can I, Kathleen Egan for the record? I think, can we make a request for Megan on this, like the regulations? Because what my question is, because it's so hard to find what the regulations are. That'd be interesting for Megan to see if this is a, what is it, the 211 direct type of a situation. Like there's one on Silver Lake that actually they installed a bench. And there's like 50 bottles in a bench.
Yeah.
So, but I'd like to know what the regulations and if what we as the public, is that a 211 issue or?
Yeah, so that would definitely be the first steps, but I think it'd be great for the community to know the regulations regarding that. So, obviously, like you stated, it's for people to do things, but we should do things within the regulations to not provide further.
What's 211?
So we have Reno Direct, which is our customer service, I guess, would be the basic. And I'm actually gonna go over it today, which is great. So it ties in, essentially, but it's for any type of complaints or issues that you guys see within the city limits, for example, dirt, debris, business not in compliance. You have concerns with a homeless individual who might be loitering or not being safe, so stuff like that. So we'll go over some common ones today. Vehicle abandonment is pretty common. So you can report them via phone, email, or an online portal where you can track your requests. Additionally, you can do it anonymously. So it doesn't have to always go back to you just for safety reasons. But that's our main point. But like you said, I think it'd be good to know the regulation or whatever it goes, just to put that in the community for everybody's awareness. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes.
John, do you have any questions?
No, I was saying, it was on the news a few years ago. It's not a hazard. They usually don't bother them too much.
Yeah.
And people get very riled up if you take over somebody died there, usually the family.
Right.
So that'd be careful how they handle it.
Yeah.
Jared,
I actually have been pondering this quite a bit
for
lately.
the record,
Yeah.
you are,
Introduced me as Jared Souther. What I've been thinking about lately is the fact that it seems like in the last 8 years, NDOT has inclusively failed to maintain our roadways. And so there's a lot of broken glass and litter throughout our 395 corridor that wasn't there when I first moved here. And that impacts not only community cleanliness, but safety. And like coming up to 395 at North McCarran, there's a lot of debris in the medium and no one's swept it out since winter. And it moves. Again, I went from here and I went to California. This is like 8 years ago. And there was just litter all over the place in California. I'm like, I'm so glad I live in Reno because it's a clean community that we live in. And so I'd like to have NDOT and RTC look at that and see what prevents inmates or others being able to clean our mediums, so 395 all the way out to Cold Springs.
Yeah, I can get you those contact informations for their equivalent to Reno Direct. Anyone else for public comment at this time? No, okay.
no,
No pressure.
No pressure. I know we're all looking at you just in case. There's no one on Zoom at this time, Mr. Chair.
okay. All right, then we will move along to A4. So I would accept a motion to approve the agenda.
Prior to that, Mr. Chair, has been one update to item B11. The description actually will be as follows. And I'll say it twice for the record, Abigail Mayorga. It's going to be the LDC 23-00067 Sierra Mobile Storage. The actual description is as follows. A request has been made for a conditional use permit to allow for an outdoor storage use for portable storage containers. The 2.7 acres site is located west of said boulevard, directly west of its intersection with Rural Street. The site is zoned mixed use suburban. It has a master plan use designated of industrial. Perfect. And then with that change, you may approve the agenda.
Okay. So I'm looking for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Jared Souther for record, motion that we approve this agenda.
White second.
Okay, you and I, do we agree?
Aye.
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 Okay, all right. Wow, that was quick. Okay, now. A5, approval of the minutes. So again, I'm seeking a motion.
John White moves that we accept the minutes.
Okay, second. I'll do it. Corey Bond. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, since she is not here, I will turn it over to you, Ms. Majorca, and I'm assuming you're gonna do both A6 and A7.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, take it away,
Thank
please.
you, Mr. Chair. So I did want to let everybody know, Councilmember Ebert was feeling ill as around like 3-4 o'clock PM. She actually wasn't able to finish some of her meetings. So she does apologize for not being here, but there is some information that she would like me to pass on to you all. And I'm going to share my screen just for the Zoom. So you guys can see and for the recording. So first things first, we're redistricting. I know that you guys went over that when we were when I was gone. So I just wanted to go over a couple of key dates because we're kind of getting to the end of it and show you guys the website where you can find where we're at up to this point, and additional contact information. So obviously we began in June. At this point, we have currently 6 draft maps, and you can kind of go over all the different draft map scenarios and look at the details and the summary statistics. I would like to point you over to this corner right here with the following dates. So July 27th, we are having our last community meeting, which will be at Reno City Hall. There is a virtual option available, so you can attend online. That begins at 6 p.m. What they're going to do at this meeting is that they are going to take all the input that they've received from these 6 maps from the community and condense them, and take final input regarding those ones to be able to present them to the August 9th Reno City Council meeting. So at this community meeting, we'll see, I think 3 to 4 maps. I'm not sure. We can ask our redistricting team, but it will kind of show what they're looking for and just do a presentation on that. And you'll be able to ask different questions regarding your concerns. And like mentioned, August 9th, it will be presented to the Reno City Council, where they will do the first reading, because it does have to be an ordinance, and they'll have discussion and debate. And if the maps are not suffice for City Council, they'll have to go back and kind of edit them and then come back again. If they are approved on August 29th, they'll have the ordinance adoption on August 23rd. If you have direct questions, you can email redistricting@reno.gov, and that will go directly to our redistricting team, as well as this phone number. So that is where we are at with that.
Kathleen,
Okay.
can you show?
Oh,
Why
hold on,
can't-
just,
question?
are you done?
Yes, with redistricting, that's
I'm
Okay.
asking about it.
I know, just a minute. Ms. Egan, go ahead.
Kathleen Egan, for the record, I'm just asking Abigail, could you please show what I found was very interesting on this? I attended the virtual meeting and public comments. I was very, very happy that I attended the meeting, but they showed a link where you could actually read and that I learned so much more. The maps were very confusing to me.
Yeah.
I didn't understand it. And people were commenting. I said, I don't get it.
Mhm.
So I went to where there's a link here to read people's comments about the different maps. That actually is the most educational part
Yeah.
of being able to read that.
Definitely. I think this was a new addition to the previous time, just to see, like you said, what other members of the community are thinking, because obviously we all live in different areas. So our areas have different issues, but you can find that here. So this was up until 6/25, and they'll have that updated for the new ones. So you can see here, you can zoom in or print them out, however you'd like, but I am resident XYZ. These are my concerns, and they kind of outline everything here. So you can see there's a chunk, and some of them don't get recorded because they're voicemails or whatever, so those are manual. But like I said, with the new input that they've received, with this second phase, that will be updated as well. So yes, a lot of different resources, YouTube videos, things in Spanish if that is needed. Yeah, so that is redistricting. Any questions on redistricting?
John, anything?
Perfect.
Jared?
No, perfect.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna move on to my next update. True, this is true. Is Reno Direct. So I know some of you are very familiar with Reno Direct. As a small rundown, Reno Direct is a non-emergency service center, and it's here to assist you with any city government related items. So again, roads, potholes, in the snow, in the winter, when snow's there, snow removal. So we have transitioned to a new platform. So it does look a little bit different, and obviously has its perks like all platforms. So I did want to go over it with you guys a little bit, because I know we've had some questions. So we transitioned to a new platform because we wanted it to be a little bit more user-friendly. I don't know for those who used it previously, but it was like a running list of things, and you had to go through the running list to find it, and if you missed it, you gotta go back to the top and go again. So you can sign up or log in and have your own account, which is great if you have multiple requests to be able to track them instead of having them in your Gmail and trying to find like updates. It'll directly update your email and your portal. So you can always just hop in and see what's going on with the request. Here you'll see the popular requests, some that I mentioned: graffiti, homeless concerns, and parking legally abandoned vehicles. So you don't have to dig through the website to find these ones. Additionally, you can look up the search bar and you can look up whatever it may be, parking or whatever your concern is, it should pop up. Additionally, a couple other requests that are kind of popular, and then articles with questions that Reno Direct kind of gets because they're a one-stop shop for a lot of questions from everywhere. So these are answers and articles for different type of items. Animal services obviously is a big one, but that's county related and other stuff. So yeah, I'm going to walk through requests because, like I said, it does have its quirks. So it'll take you here and it kind of gives you a briefing of what it is, because obviously parking illegally can mean different things. You know, if it's in a complex, if it's an apartment complex, obviously they have their own towing, so it varies. So they try and explain what that looks like and how we can assist. So like I said, your first name, last name, and email address is not necessary, but if you do wish to receive updates, you will need to put some form of contact information. The only things that are requested are the start asterisk things. One of the issues that I know some people don't necessarily like is that the previous system had an app. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have an app, but it is very user-friendly on your phone. When you do it on your phone, as you can see here, you have the left side, which is the information portal, and the right side, which is the map. On your phone, it will be one full screen. So it'll be the information first, and then you will continue down to put your location at the bottom of the screen. So you kind of have to scroll a little bit to get that address or the map. If you don't put in a location, it won't let you do anything, which is a little frustrating for some. I know the address is like at the bottom. If you don't know the exact address and you're looking for like in between area, it also reads that very well. So I'll do an example here. I'll do First in Virginia. I promise I know how to spell it. So it takes me to a kind of like the pinpoint of First in Virginia, but say it's like more up Virginia, like right in front of City Hall. You're able to move the pin to that closer location or whatever location, as you can see. It kind of takes you in that direction. So you're able to click and it'll say selected address. You'll see that it's down here. So you're good to go. It won't let you change it, but you'll just have to fill out the rest and then you can submit. At this little bottom portion here, it tells you the information that you're missing. So just in case you can't see it or you can't see it clearly on your phone, it'll tell you what you're missing. And then you can add attachments as well. So pictures, like in your request, you can add the pictures here, or if you didn't take pictures at the moment, you can always go back and re-add them. Perfect. Okay, that was it for Reno Direct. Any questions on the new Reno Direct?
John White.
Yes.
So I know with the pothole issue, you're supposed to take a picture and gives a GPS tag to it.
Yeah.
The issue I have is Silver Lake from Stead, basically almost to Red Rock. It has huge gaps in the middle between the two, each lane.
Yeah.
It's like the whole thing. You'd have to have a running video
Yeah.
of the sections, and they're really huge. I don't necessarily affect the cars, but if I'm on my motorcycle and I have to swerve for a child or car, bike, anything in there that causes me to move towards those areas, I could, lose control, not likely, but
Not like.
I'm a good rider.
Yeah. No,
But
I
it is-
understand.
But it's like they're
Like a
way
long line
long
instead of like one
and all
singular.
along the whole thing.
Correct, yeah, that's no problem. So for example, if you were to submit it into Reno Direct, I would say do the one. And then in the description, because you're allowed to put more comments, hey, actually, I put it here because it starts here. And it's going to continue on from this location to the end location. I'm sorry, I don't think I showed you guys that part, but there is a part where you can add additional comments that will allow you to be a little bit more specific. And I know that when we do have additional questions, yeah, you can describe the issue here. So you can be like, from here to here. But yes, we can put that in as well, Mr. White. Yes.
You showed, of course, this is a brand new platform. Do they have plans to add an app for this
Yeah, so obviously, like I said, we're working through the quirks right now, and even previously, different items that some people miss. I know that an app is something that they're looking to do, hopefully in the future. So we're just gonna get used to this and then we'll see how it goes. Yeah, apps are obviously very friendly. Perfect. And if, the portal is not you'd rather just call, the phone numbers here listed as well. They do answer from 9 to 4. But if you submit something after hours, you will get a response, or like on the weekend or whatever, you will get a response the following week. So they do track all those. Yes, ma'am.
Question, so this should be on City of Reno app?
No, it's not on the app. So you're actually gonna go to reno.gov. And you can either go into the search bar here and put Reno Direct, or you can just look /community/Reno Direct.
So I have to go
To the
on
website. Yeah.
Okay.
You can do it on your phone, but just through the browser.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's not gonna be an app, unfortunately, not yet. Soon, hopefully. Perfect. Awesome. Nice. All right, and my last update is, we are always looking for new NAB members. Oh, let me show my screen again so I can show you guys. So we did lose 2 NAB members as they termed out, which is great. So we appreciate them for their service. So obviously we have more openings for the NAB. And even if you are kind of on the board or on the fence about it, you can always be an alternate. So that's a little bit different, obviously, than a full-time member. But if it's something that you're interested in, like I said, we're always looking for applications. So what you can do is you'll go to the City of Reno website, you can go in the search bar, you'll look at boards and commissions, and then you'll have the boards and applications here, and then you can email it to the city clerk, or you can print it out and bring it to the city clerk's office Monday through Friday at 9. You can also email it to me and I can get it routed to the appropriate person. So you can click this and it's fillable online, so you can fill it out as needed. And it's pretty simple. Ask just basic questions, a couple questions, and then it will go to Councilmember Ebert and she'll do her evaluation. She may request an interview. It just depends on the council member, obviously, at the time. And then they will go and get agendized for city council, and it does have to be approved to the Reno City Council. For example, Victoria's got reappointed this Wednesday, so it's great. So she'll be here for a little bit longer. Awesome. But if you have any questions about requirements or you're interested in that, please feel free to ask me any questions.
Okay, anybody have questions? Congratulations, Victoria. Okay, with that, we will move on to item B1, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Awesome. All right, so we're gonna go to item B11, and Mr. John is here to talk about Sierra Mobile Storage. So I'll share my screen and then you can stand at the podium or wherever you're from. Okay.
Am I gonna flip or you?
I gotcha.
For the record, you are, for the record, are you the chair now? Yes. So Renee's, did she?
She turned out.
She turned out, that's what I was trying to say. Okay, yeah. You've been chair before.
mm-hmm.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank
My name is John Kropotic, and I'm with KLS Planning. I am taking over this project. You guys probably heard the news about Mike Rayleigh. He is leaving the private profession, moving to the city of Reno, and he's spread some projects around town. So here we are on this one. Sierra Mobile Storage, it's a CUP. It's that leading language on the request. I was asked by staff yesterday because of that little notice and glitch, of which Abby Gale corrected in the record. That's exactly as she stated it. We just cut and pasted it in to make it right for noticing and for the city attorney's approval. I will repeat it though, CUP to allow for outdoor storage use for portable storage containers. The 2.07 acre site is located west of Stead Boulevard, directly west of its intersection with Ural Street. It's zoned MS and master planned industrial. So there's that site. It's really, they said, well, somebody described it as west of, but it's actually abutting Stead, right? Next. There's the zoning, the red crosshatch area is all MS, as we noted in the intro. And so it falls within that required MSU. Where is our site plan and speed plan? And you can see Stead Boulevard on the bottom of the screen. A little driveway that's actually an extension of that Stubb Street. There's an access easement, legal access easement we have noted there that goes straight up on the right side of the page, so we have to leave that unencumbered, respect that space. And the rest is, you can see the gated access at the entry throat there, and then the storage containers. They will be double stacked everywhere, but those adjacent to potentially double stacked, right? It's always about maturing into capacity of the site, but single stacked on along Stead Boulevard for kind of a little more compatibility on the street front there, and then an 8-foot wall in the perimeter. You see that concrete pad that's for loading and unloading. We actually added, I think this is a misuse of space, but codes are codes, and there's really no demand for parking here. We know that as a practical matter, but it's sort of a new use in the world. There's not all these national studies all over the place. So we're actually putting parking there because the code requires it. It's not a big backbreaker when you're only talking about 3 spaces, but it's always something to think about in terms of managing resources, costs, and, ultimately land. And then you can see, the re-veg area, which is actually going to be native adjacent tracks over there. I'll just quickly go through these photos, get you, and most people and probably everybody in the room knows about this location. That's looking north along Stead Boulevard. So imagine the southeast corner, that's that southeast corner of the property. Looking west along the north property line, it's a beautiful view, and we had a lot of precipitation over at times this year. Looking southwest. Mural, and you can visualize that. Snow cap line peak. And the other one I have is looking due south from the intersection. Of course, you can see if I can say all of those were some orientation, if I can say. There is a container. There are 2 sizes. You can see it's 8 feet tall. So that's when we talk about 16 feet, which the code allows, will just be those 2 stacked. And then they're all 8 feet wide, and then the length varies by either 16 feet or 20 feet in length. So there's one, and the next. That's what we have. And do I have, the development team, Ola Maku LLC is the owner. Doug Buck with the Christie Corporation civil engineer, and Mike was the planner, Mark Chappelle. Worked with all these gents quite a bit. LA Studio as the landscape architect, and myself with Gail as planning. And that is my brief presentation. If there were any questions, comments, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, anybody on the dais have questions? John?
Yeah.
You're talking double stack, you're talking on top.
Yes.
How is that accessed?
You have to call it. You have to call them to get your
Oh,
stuff.
yeah. So let's go back to the site plan. That's the landscape plan, Abigail. So yeah, it's gated access by appointment only. So that is the owner meets you there if you have a container. They have about 2/3 of the containers on site, the other third or on the customer's property or their business or wherever they're using it. So they have a forklift looking like operation.
They bring it in?
They bring it in
All right.
for each one of these. There you go. Flatbed, bring it in, use the little lift, access the units with the owner there. That's how it works.
Smart.
By appointment only gated, obviously gated, but it's not card control because most people see that gate and think of mini storage and you have credit card, what we call credit card access, card access. This doesn't operate that way. So we're confident saying, everybody likes to talk about traffic, good, bad, or indifferent. And applicants always like to say, well, it's a very low intensity use. Well, this one really is, which is always nice to the street network. But, I can't take any credit for that.
Kathleen?
Just a question. So it'd be only 2 high, so that's 16 feet.
Yeah.
And the wall is 8 feet. So I'm just trying to imagine visually driving driving there since I have family there, so I drive there often. I'm just trying to see how that looks, and you gave two different examples. So if it was all the same design and you were just looking at that nice, clean look, but are you saying that we're going to be driving down there and you're going to be having a view kind of like the pick and pull that I have up in North Virginia? Or you just, all these just different variety
Yeah,
of,
you are. I mean,
of
you know,
containers.
it's always about attitude and perspective, right? Because it's not along the street there, right? So you're gonna have the trees, the landscaping, the buffer, the screen with the 8-foot wall. But yeah, if you projected like a line of sight, what you're saying, you know, in the back, yeah, you probably wouldn't see that from the street. You could see it. I mean, if you're a half mile down instead, you're definitely gonna see that, right? If they're double stacked on that back row or the middle row.
and these are, I just want to make sure, these are currently in use, so they're not abandoned, rusted out
No, they
things
keep
that,
them clean.
see, these are
This is-
nice.
This is new.
all
I mean,
nice
there's
and
an art
clean.
form to it, right? I mean, you look
Yeah.
at, what, I mean, it was extremely controversial in the public approval process, the Eddy. And there is an artistic form to these, the way you can look at the boxes that were painted, that's all part of the program. Hopefully, they're received well visually in the community.
Nice
That's
and
part of the deal.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it's funny how land use is changing. I mean, this is brand new to me.
Do you have security, for example, what are the security concerns of, we hear about people that are actually using them to actually live in?
You know, you got surveillance, you got gated access, and you got an 8-foot wall. So that's the
Yeah.
extent. So there is. full-time
Security cameras.
24/7, 365, yeah. You know, for remote, you know, more remote observation.
Well, it's nicer than having another pop-up warehouse with trucks.
Hi, I'm Jared, thank you.
Of course.
So what is the typical lease of these units that are being brought to the site?
The lease?
Yeah.
I do not know that. It's a business operation thing, and I went through all the business operation stuff. I may have missed it, but I'm gonna look.
The question that arises for me is, I guess, how much movement of trailers in and out of the projects would take place once it's there. They if they need to access it again, if it's double stacked, you said that a lift will get them up and they're safe to go into it without lowering it down and moving the trailer.
Yeah, they would lower it down.
Okay, got
They're stacked.
Yeah, I understand. I was just trying to clarify that.
You know, of course, yeah, it's a good point.
Um,
I don't think there's anything, you know what I mean? It's sort of like, if there's an apartment project, we usually, unless it's more affordable housing, we don't talk about rents, I usually don't know them.
yeah.
It's proprietary.
Let me ask, the question that arises is that currently this business exists at a different site and they're relocating, or is this a growth model and it's new to
This
them?
is the growth model, this is the third location.
Okay.
By this particular owner.
Okay. Thank you. Where are the other sites at?
There's one on, one down there by Reno Lexus adjacent to the freeway, over at that little stub street that kind of dead ends.
Yeah.
The freeway. There's one other one in Sparks.
Okay, thank you. That answers all my questions.
Well, thank you. I appreciate your questions, keeping me sharp here, and maybe I should know about you really want to know about how much it costs us to go buy one. No, I mean, I'm talking about as a.
Yeah.
If you want a box, right? It's important.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's more so knowing the volume of turns and that's what I was asking for.
Okay.
And you've already addressed trip. So. Thank you, John. I'm good.
No, thank you. Yeah,
Um,
good to see.
John White, as a friend of mine, so these pods are from the companies that need them and they bring them in and put them there, or are they all gonna be there like this when it opens up? Or this may actually be vacant and they bring them in?
No, they bring in a portion, right? He grows into this.
All right, so these are all, won't really.
I mean, you're not gonna see double stacked out of the cake.
Right away, no.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not gonna-
right.
All right, that's what it's not. It'll come in.
Because it's not like building a new building, right?
Yeah.
You're just stacking, so until the demand's established,
And
right? And then you bring in the second batch.
then they bring,
Yeah, you guys are asking good questions, but that's typical of the Northwest SNAP, in my opinion.
Ladies, have anything? Jerry,
Just public comment.
okay, yeah. Okay, ladies, do you have anything?
Yes, thank you. So two questions.
Okay, hold on. Your name again,
Oh, I'm
please?
Nancy. Heck.
Nancy, got it?
And so when you say there is security or surveillance, is that like live or is that just cameras?
No, just cameras. Yeah, no security
If something
cards.
happens afterwards, they're gonna go back and
Well, I mean, if you saw somebody doing something illegally, that would get reported to the police, right?
I'm just trying to understand what the setup is.
Yeah.
And then when you said it's by appointment only, so what are the hours of that? Is there a restriction on that?
Yeah, seven to seven, Monday through Saturday. When I say by appointment, the owner meets you at the gate. There's gonna be a day, and there's some narrative here that says if things successful, you transition to gate access, right? I'm a tenant, I have a card. But you can't, nobody has their own forklift in this piece of equipment, so it sort of governs how it's gonna operate with sort of guarantees that the owner is gonna be meeting there. That's part of the deal. Does that make sense?
One comment,
Okay.
Victoria, for the record. I've worked with the company with our work as well, and they're very good at making sure their employees handle most of it. They're very good at timing and being adjustable to different schedules as well. So they're a good business to bring around, and it's not going to be too bad of anything really. As far as stacking and views, it should be pretty mild. If you haven't noticed the one on South Virginia, that's a good thing. You haven't noticed it, so.
Good. Good.
Or maybe you do, I mean, right, the mural part of this, that's,
Yeah.
I like those. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Yeah. No? Okay, anybody else? Okay, thank you, Mr. John. It
Thank
was a pleasure as always to see
Thank
you.
you too, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Ms. Abigail, then, we are on item, C, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, anybody have any, items? Ms. Egan?
So we had the open water, open house, that everyone knew about that over at the community center, and it was a joint venture between the city and the county. I was very impressed that we had the city and the county cooperate. When they said an open house, I was expecting to go in and having row seating. We listen to people talk, then people line up for public comment. And it actually was set up with booths, so kind of like a science fair, but very large graphs. And the people, and so you walk to whatever station, and the people that they had there, which was wonderful, was actually the engineers, the project managers, the people that had specific knowledge that when we have city meetings or even, Megan, and we ask these specific questions and you have to go research it. These were like the scientists and the engineers so the flooding, the Golden Valley for the wells recharge. They had experts, and I was just so impressed. I didn't get a chance to ask any questions because there were people in front of me. So I just really want to encourage, I just want to give you really positive feedback that I really found it of value to listening what other neighbors' concerns were, and then listening to the responses, the respect shown towards the question, the interaction between those project managers and those engineers with the public. I thought that was I think we need more of that instead of just looking at city council meetings and county commissioner meetings. This was really into the heart of a citizen interaction and getting information that they can then go back to their neighbor and do. I love the graphs. The only thing I would say that there were no handouts. So I took pictures on my phone to remember different things. And I wish there was a handout, because when I came back, I wanted to talk to Megan about it. I wanted to talk to my neighbors, and I couldn't remember everything. So I would have loved to have a handout, or even something that a link to a PDF online. And then second of all, the only disappointment that I had was regarding the forever chemicals. And that is the PEF, what do you call it?
Like PFAS.
PFAS, the PFAS. I was very interested in that. And the table that was manned there had no displays. It was manned by the health district. There was no city or other county representative, because my interest is for our neighbors that have wells. And it's not just the county people in the county. We have people in the city of Reno that have wells as well. So and I was surprised that who manned it is the county health district. I was like, okay, so this is your jurisdiction, because in all the media and the presentations, it seemed like it was a joint, the city and the county were working together, task force, we're going to be testing more, coming up and seeing the city utilities, City of Reno Utilities is the one who's going to be putting up signs warning people not to go in the water. And so when I was talking with the health district guy, I said, oh, so it's a health district issue? And he said, well, it's not our jurisdiction. The government has not found that there is any problem here because the city water is safe. I went, okay, well, the city water, what about people on the well? Your county, is the county going to provide testing? No, there's no testing available, but we have this handout, a handout where a citizen can go pay. So we have senior citizens that you're saying, the county is saying, the city, you had a press release saying there are dangerous chemicals here. But then the health district says, we're not going to help you. The city and the county are not going to help you. That grandma there is going to have to go pay for a $500 test if there's a problem. So I was like, well, that doesn't seem right, because we had testing provided before when we had the flooding. So, and he said, well, no one, every question that I asked him, he said it's not his jurisdiction. He didn't know. And then he tried to argue with me that the chemicals did not have any health concerns. I said, 3M just lost a lawsuit, millions of dollars, with communities around the country. They just lost a lawsuit. So and I said, if there's no other concern, then why did you have a joint press conference all over the news if it wasn't a concern? So I was really disappointed that there wasn't someone there from the city or the county to provide information on, I want the additional testing, because all here, there's going to be additional testing, there's going to be additional evaluation if there's any action item, and there was no one there to represent that. So that on a side thing. Secondary, the one thing that I wanted to add or suggest as an agenda item is the people that were there for the purification water facility is just amazing. Their presentation, they actually, and their funding is not our tax dollar funding, it's the grants. And they said that they are welcome to any public meeting that you have. They are available to come, give out pamphlets, do a presentation, help spread the word on that. And they also have a truck. So on Legos, they have a truck that's, what do you call it? Wrapped? Yeah. And they're willing to go over. So I don't know if you have the link to, I don't have their handout, what they gave me.
Do you remember the organization?
I will
It's on Tumwa, right?
It's not Tumwa. It's not Tumwa. And this is the first of its kind that is actually being promoted as a model. They're getting national attention. It'll be the first in Nevada, and they're getting national attention for it. So I will dig into a little bit because I thought.
And I can connect with the individuals from the city who went.
Yep.
Like, hey, who? Oh,
Yeah.
You let me know.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Thank you so much.
First, I just wanted to add that I remember back, was it in May that we met at Evelyn Mountain Center, and both city and county was there talking about the water testing at the Swan Lake and Silver Lake for that PFAS, which was really interesting to be enlightened by that. So there's some efforts, but I can understand your frustration for why there wasn't more at your event. You actually sparked a thought that I've had. With the increasing amount of earthquakes in that cluster that we've had, it would be nice to do like an emergency preparedness fair in the North Valleys. With like maybe having Truckee Meadows Fire or Reno Fire and RIMSA, and maybe a specialist to talk about what to do prepared for earthquakes.
I know that there's like a big class that goes on that teaches for that.
So I think this would be a great NAB project. And we can identify a date, time, location. And then all the peoples that you want, obviously, like I can assist with connecting and making that happen. And I know Councilmember Ebert's on the phone, by the way. But I think this would be maybe something that we can spearhead and kind of take ownership so we know what you guys want to see and what the community wants to see, and then kind of put it out there. If you guys like it. Just a thought.
Sure.
Yeah, I like your idea. That's good. Cool.
Okay,
So-
anybody else have anything? Seeing none. Ladies, one more time on the spot. Any other comments? No? Don, I don't assume you do, but if you.
No, I mean, I'll be public comment now because I appreciate, this is probably the quietest I've ever seen this now,
Yeah.
right? So what the heck, I usually don't do this, but you just said something, and I hope like from my perspective, doing this for 25 years, how important it is to engage the community with, here's a development project, okay? And not fighting the fight, having good conversation. I mean, I know that you were just saying it, but a lot of people just take it from a place of adversity and it's just never productive, Sometimes there's a hard community line that says, no way, this is inappropriate. And I understand you fight the fight, but just think about that. And I'm sure you guys all do. It's pretty obvious, but I mean, so it can be, it's like, I've seen so many ideas, like I said, I heard several of your comments and I said, those are great questions. And they result in better projects. That's the influence there. That's what you're trying to do. That's all I have to say. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, anybody else? Okay, Corey Bond, I will point out, and I apologize if I was inappropriate. All I'm trying to say is, you guys you need to address your questions to me, and then that way it keeps a balance, and that's all I was trying to say.
Apologize, Corey, that's not how it's been in Nabocas before, that we had to go through the chair. So,
Okay, well, I'm just, if I was rude, I do apologize, but that was what I was trying to put out there. Okay,
All
then, other than that, and we said this was gonna be short, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second,
Anybody?
second. Victoria, left for the record.
All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed. Thank you, everybody.
I like those wraps on those, the containers.
You like that?
Instead of